Painful Lessons podcast. I'm Tyler Ramsey. We got a killer interview today. I'm very excited. Great guest, Joshua David Earp of the Wyatt Earp family. The dude's got a lot of hyphens: actor, producer, entrepreneur, and mentalist. Like, he didn't come in with the hyphen of a mentalist, but it's been revealed in our little small talk that he's also a mentalist. So I'm kind of excited about this. And yeah, dude, he acts and produces in shows, and he's does all kinds of stuff in Hollywood. He's got a killer studio with here, I'll just go into it right now. So, like, the great thing is I can just turn to you and start. The first question is, you're gonna help me finish the intro. I was about to explain your studio. You explain your studio,
Absolutely. Yeah. So I just got asked to join Bandit Jones Studios.
Yeah.
Which is a movie studio and television studio located at Netflix's headquarters, and it's right an 8-minute walk from where I live in Hollywood. And it's with my great friends Ewan Gottfried, Philip Wilburn, and Tony Sarandos. And we're really looking forward to doing more comedy, because we love comedy and we think, laughter is the best medicine. And some of my partners were from Happy Madison as well. So yeah, it's really going to be a great time.
It seems like the happiest of all, like, crew that you could find would be anyone that's worked with Adam Sandler. It seems there's one thing I get FOMO about, and it's a posse that Adam Sandler has put together. Seems like the most fun group ever. And every now and then I'll see him online or something. I'll be like, I should be invited to that party.
It's so funny because my other business partner, and he's been a mentor of mine for a long time. His name's Randy Turrow, Turrow.
Yeah.
And if you look him up on IMDb, he is the one that discovered Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Way like before the Saturday Night Live thing, and he's the one that got him his first shot and his first role in a movie. And he's really taught me a lot about the business side of the movies, since he was the chairman of the Mentors Committee at the Directors Guild.
Okay.
And so he's really taught me a lot about completion bonds, surety bonds, tax credits, like, backstops, minimum guarantees.
All the most boring parts of entertainment.
All the best things,
We have this entertainment tax accountant on today. He's going to tell us about a new change in line 54 in the 2025.
Absolutely. Well, when you get 20 to 30% of your money back, it's a good thing, right?
Oh, of course. Jeez.
Yeah, on your production.
I mean, anyone that's making money in Hollywood right now, it's a tough time in Hollywood right now.
It really is, yeah. Especially with all the fires and stuff, but we're hopeful. And, Kevin James, or sorry, not Kevin James, different Kevin Smith. Wow, that's way off.
Yeah.
But Kevin Smith, which I've had the pleasure
Clerks.
also of meeting him, as well. I met him in Miami at an event a while back. But he's very close with my other business partners like Ewan. And he always tells him, the only way to make it is to make it.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to make your own stuff, kind of like, The Bay, right? That show that I acted in.
You were on a show called The Bay.
Yeah.
You acted and produced in it. Yeah.
Yeah, season 9. And, I did the marketing for the show prior. And as I said, it won, 23 Emmys, was nominated 64 times.
Yeah.
We'll be at the Emmys again this year. So that's great. My friend is the governor of the Emmys, actually. So shout out to Kate Linder if you're watching this. She's a real sweetheart. But like, as you know, Hollywood is about networking. It's about relationships, but it's also about doing the work and being passionate.
Is this town going to bounce back?
I don't know. It very well could.
Geez.
I think there's going to be a new.
More
it's definitely going to bounce back as a smart city. Concentration camp. Oops, sorry. Same thing, but So we'll definitely see, unfortunately, probably a rise in digital surveillance and stuff like that. Unfortunately, but I feel like that awareness is key, because I feel like if more people are aware of what's going on, then there could be a change, right?
But what about the industry, just the entertainment industry? Do you think that it will, in LA, bounce back because it's having a tough time right now? Then the fires didn't make it any easier. Although I don't know why the fires had so much, like, it's not like they're shooting a lot of stuff in the Palisades. Why did the fires make...
Well, it lines up with the high-speed rail system and the train system that they're trying to build, as well with the smart city plans for the 2028 Olympics. So it all lines up. I'm not.
But
sure.
Why did that slow down the entertainment?
Well, a lot of people, like, so for instance, another, associate of ours, Chuck Lorre, right, who created Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men.
Of course.
He literally just had to, evacuate and go to, I think he's staying. I don't want to say exactly where he's staying, but I'm just saying. he had to evacuate as well. So we're seeing a disruption in a lot of different, like, it doesn't matter really how big you are, either, right? Like Chuck is like one of the, billionaire kingpins of television.
So like Chuck's not going to be in the office for a while. He can't hear your pitch. And so like, we're going to
Yeah, or
shelf
whatever
your
it is,
project and then ripple effect.
Yeah, or whatever it is, because
Okay.
everyone comes in at a different level, right?
Yeah.
Some people come in trying to pitch a project. Some people, are the project, or they, they just work with these people in some way, some capacity,
Yeah. I have a good idea for a movie. You want to hear it?
Yeah, I'd love
Okay.
to.
Okay. So it's about this artist, right? And this artist, and he is working on. Do you know that like there was a hole for D-Day? There was a huge opera. I think it was called Operation Citadel. It was a huge like trick that patent took a whole army, fake army, to Port Calais, and he pretended that that's where they were gonna like try to focus the whole landing, right? And that wasn't there. It was at Normandy, and he had like inflatable tanks, and he had like like all kinds of fake stuff. Like
Right.
they would paint a big army set, and it tricked the Germans. So they had artists there. So
Yeah, I heard something about that.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Yeah, I heard that they were able to like convince them that they were like a bunch of people in a location that there really wasn't, or something like that, right?
Hitler was tricked by it. So
Wow.
or at least he thought for sure, not for sure, he thought there was a high probability that that's where the landing would be. So he had most of the Panzer tanks waiting like above the beaches so that they could go one direction or another, and kind of like in the middle ground. And all the Panzer tanks didn't end up having like a tremendous impact in protecting the beach because of this weird area that they were at. They never really were effective during the landing. And Hitler's so indecisive. He never he didn't make up his mind until finally it was so obvious. And by then it was too late for the tanks to really to get there in time, make an impact. So they had to kind of fall back and do something more defensive. So this one operation, a huge impact in the war. So I like to think, okay, so here's my movie. So it's about this artist, right?
Right.
And he's in charge of just like painting fake tanks. He's like, this is the worst gig. I want to be like a hero. And so then while he's painting, he dreams of these three different things. Like he has these like three acts, three different dreams. And one, he single-handedly like punches Hitler in the mouth and like somehow does like a Secret Service thing, and he's like maybe kind of a superhero. And then his next dream, it's more of like a karate, like he uses karate and something. And then maybe the third, he's really more of he's like, for some reason, his third dream, he's like way more of a ladies' man and like seduces all kinds of people. And anyway, that's the act structure. He's going to learn something by the end about himself. I haven't figured what that is. But wouldn't that be fun?
That's an incredible story.
Give me an incredible story. Okay,
it's all about the story too. It's great stories like that can help change the world.
Help change the world. And so, here's the trick. At the end of all this, he's like, actually, he learns that even though he had all these big dreams of like single-handedly beating Hitler, these really elaborate tanks that he paints and actually had a huge impact in the war. So he's kind of a war hero.
Wow.
And I think I'm going to start interviewing producers and be like, hey, what do you think about this pitch? And then I'll put you on the spot. So at the very least, you have to go, it's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
And be like, okay, so should we just sign something in the room? That's what they call signing a deal in the room.
One of my guys,
do they buy it in the room, Jerry?
Well, one of my friends, it's funny you mentioned that. So Randy also gave start to this, also Quentin.
Who's Randy?
So Randy Turow, the guy, my mentor that discovered Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah, way to
go, Randy. He also gave Quentin Tarantino over to Harvey Keitel and made that introduction.
He did?
Started Quentin's, career. But the thing is that guys like that, it's just crazy because you can learn so much. And he also gave start to another producer friend of mine named Jeff Rice, who did like $1 billion in the film. You can go to his IMDb and tally it all up or whatever.
He invested
But
$1 billion in films.
he basically, his films generated over $1 billion. So he's the executive producer for like
Wow.
Keanu Reeves and all these
Way
other
to
people,
go.
which is friends with Sonny over here and all these other people. Sonny's a
Keanu
badass,
Reeves
by the way.
is your friend?
Yeah, he works with him and George Lucas and all that. I don't mean to put
Very
him on
cool,
the
dude.
spot, but yeah, he's a lot cooler
I
than
know
me.
someone who thought that Keanu Reeves was like having a relationship with her, and I think it became a very destructive thing. And I have close friends that try to go, "This is definitely not Keanu Reeves that you're in a relationship with," and she would say things like, "This is all I have, so why are you going to take this away from me?" I'm like, well, it's
Same thing. The woman just got ripped off for like, like a $800,000.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt. Yep.
But
Yeah.
but I want so that woman probably had people that were like, "Hey, this is not Brad Pitt," and so she's probably like, "You don't know, you don't know."
Yeah, it's crazy. And so where I was going at with that
Oh, yeah,
is,
you're good.
because I would always ask like, what's the best way to raise money for movies? Because
Yeah,
I've had a lot of experience in raising money for movies, but also I've had a lot of experience not having success raising money for movies, right? Like,
Yeah.
especially when I first got started. And so, he said one thing is, if you really want to raise money for a project, have the celebrity that you're doing the project with in the room with the investor and have them put pressure on the investor. So
Wait,
like Al Pacino
have the
or
celebrity
Sylvester
that you're in the
Stallone
room with. Oh yeah,
would basically be like,
Got
hey, hey buddy, do you want to do this movie with me? If so, why don't we just sign here and then we'll do it and celebrate, blah, 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 Like
Will
that's
we-
like a hack to get it done. Because a lot of times
yeah,
people will be, especially if you just make a phone call, hey, do you want to invest in this movie? They're going to be like, no. But if you're hanging out with the star in the movie and you're with them and you're basically able to, play to their fantasies, right, as Robert Greene would say,
yeah.
then basically, you have a higher chance of closing the deal.
No, of course. Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. I think that's almost obvious, though. I mean, you would think, I can't imagine any. I mean, you don't really hear about projects even ever getting green light unless they have a star attached.
Yeah, but a lot of people, they might have a star attached, but they can't get in the room with the star. It's kind of a weird industry. Like there's, a guy wanted me to manage him who was like Ariana Grande and Justin Bieber's producer, but like he's never met either one of them, but he's
Yeah.
their producer, right? So you know what I mean?
He can't.
So it's
they
kind of
can't
weird
kill.
like that, So it's really about having that access,
He's not. He still doesn't have enough pull yet to go. Bieber, will you? I know. I need you to come into this room with me and really dazzle him.
Yeah, or whatever it is.
Dazzle this guy's wife. The oh wait, about Kevin Smith. Doesn't it seem like he maybe could benefit from a visit from, what do they call those guys? Like the 3 queer guys or the 5 gay guys or some, what's
Trying to think.
Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. His personal style, he was very fat for a while and then lost so much weight. And this was like before his Ozempic. So I think he probably made all kinds of great choices. And now he still seems to dress like a fat guy that, like he seems to be wearing his fat clothes still.
Yeah, like even the same exact clothes, like the trench coat and everything,
Yeah.
right?
So it feels like he's ripe for an arrangement with the 4 queer guys or for the Queer Eye for the gay.
Oh yeah, he definitely
whatever.
needs a bar rescue.
Yeah,
like
he can
Sean
get
Taff or something,
totally.
right?
I don't think he's listening, but way to go, because he's got a good looking facial structure. But every time I see him, he's wearing like a sport coat that's like 7 sizes too big for him, and it's like rolled up. It's like a kid that got dressed in their parents' closet.
You're right. The thing I like about Kevin too, though, is that he's a productive, functioning stoner. He says people give you shit if you smoke weed and watch TV, but they don't give you shit if you smoke weed and make TV. Right.
If you smoke weed and you make money, people rarely give you shit.
Yeah.
I tried it and eventually it stopped working. There was a period of time where it kind of worked. Maybe I was wrong, but it eventually stopped working. I'm in recovery, and sometimes I look back and I'm like, some drugs worked until they stopped working. Adderall worked for a bit. I mean, I don't think I would have graduated from college without Adderall, and then it became really destructive. And then eventually I feel like it's taking so much that I almost had like a mental break. It's like do I have bipolar? I'm like, no, just took like a speed that they
Yeah,
this doctor is
legalized.
just willing to give me. I'm like, it's speed. Um, the but I don't know. Maybe it's like I feel like I have a friend that just got sober, and he's like, I think I'm probably gonna keep um smoking pot. He's like, what do you think? I was like, you ultimately are gonna do what you want, but I think it's a terrible idea because it's I don't know. I've such a different I'm like I'm pretty sure you've had enough and it's probably just making you dumb now. You probably have had all the epiphanies that you're gonna have, uh, and now it's gonna make you dumb. That's what I told him.
Well,
But everybody's different, and some people I think I would tell something totally different, but like smoke way more pot.
yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
you're not in recovery, but
No.
you're great for painful lessons because you have at least an early story that I'm like
Yeah,
I've intentionally not asked a lot of questions about, and it involves going to jail for creating DMT.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I can
tell me
cover
about
that. So when I was 18 years old, I was really interested in the mind, and that's how I became a mentalist. So maybe we'll show you some mentalism too. We'll lead into that from this story. But I was always interested in the mind, so naturally I became interested in psychedelics, and reading a lot about them as a young man, and not having any access to them really, I had to, learn how to extract dimethyltryptamine, which is kind of crazy because it's a it's a neurotransmitter that has a tryptamine nucleus.
it. Okay.
So it literally is like producing our pineal gland when we dream and when we die. And it really is like our third eye, our pineal gland, because it has a retina, cornea, and a lens.
Okay.
And so, DMT is the spirit molecule, but the word spirit comes from the word spire, which means to breathe. And that's where,
I've heard it called the God molecule also.
yeah, yeah. Well, yes, absolutely. So, which
Thank
the God particle is another. My friend Dr. Katsushi Arasaka is the one that discovered that as well, which we'll talk more about that.
Cool.
But here's the thing: is that so DMT. So basically, yeah. So it's like a drug, but it's also produced in our brain when we dream, and it's a psychedelic. And a lot of people listening probably already know what it is. And when I was 18, yes, I was making it in my mother's basement at the time, and the government found out because I think I was ordering something off the internet that was legal, like root bark, but it wasn't. It was
Root
basically like a
barb.
root bark. So
Okay.
it's a type of bark that grows, native to Brazil called
Yeah.
Mimosa hostilis. But
Why is this
anyway,
kid ordering root bark? This
yeah,
is
why is
weird.
this kid ordering root bark? Let's see what this is. Knock knock. Oh shit, what is this? So, but that was when I was 18, and that's what set me off on the path of being an entrepreneur because I couldn't even get a job at McDonald's or anywhere, like even if I tried.
Okay.
And
Why?
so because they
Why
don't
could you
hire
not?
they don't hire drug felons, or at that time they didn't,
Oh,
because I
got
had
it.
a felony
They do
basically.
now. They
Yeah,
do
well, I'm
now.
sure they do now, but
Yeah.
they were really discriminatory, especially in my area at that time. But anyway, I mean, I just applied everywhere, right? But yeah, I couldn't get a job anywhere, so I decided to use hypnosis and make a job out of that. And then I got involved in magic and mentalism. But I want to show you something live on this
Okay.
podcast.
I'm open.
So let's have a
Let's do it.
podcast first, where we do a mentalism effect
I've
live.
never done that. Great.
There you go. So what I want you to do is
I'm
think
open
of.
minded. But I should tell you the only thing that I don't mess with gypsies. It wouldn't have anything to do with well, is that a race? Is gypsy a race?
It can be,
Oh, okay. So I'm not saying
Either way,
I'm not racist, but
Yeah.
I don't want to. I wouldn't mess. Oh, with a sorcerer. If someone was like, "I'm a
Yeah.
sorcerer," I'd be like, "Dude, people in the Bible that mess with sorcerers, it does not work out well. I
Yeah,
don't want anything to.
exactly.
If
Yeah,
you have a
so-
Ouija board, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah,
okay,
so
but
I
a
don't do
mentalist
any,
is different.
Yeah, I don't do any black magic or anything like that.
Okay, yeah.
It's literally just shows you the power of your own mind.
Okay.
Because as humans, we only tap into like roughly 10, if we're lucky, percent of our mind. I show people how to access more. So
Okay.
and we just so your viewers know, and you're a very honest man. Like
Yeah.
we didn't set anything up, or we didn't like prearrange or talk about anything.
I only just found out you're a mentalist
There you
a
go.
minute ago.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I want you to think of anything in the entire world. It could be a person, place, or thing, or it could be any number from infinity, from basically 0 to infinity, or even negative infinity. Doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Or it could just be like a childhood name, like a friend, or it could be, you know, anything really, a place.
Okay.
You know, some people choose a random word, but just something that, like, you know, that isn't like ridiculously crazy. I mean, it can be crazy,
Yeah.
but just realize I only speak English. I've had people give me
Okay.
random weird languages, but anyway, so you have this thing or this person or this number in your mind,
Okay.
correct?
So I can,
Just
and
think it. Don't say anything out loud.
I understand.
Yeah.
I won't give it away, but you're giving me the flexibility, like think of whatever,
Whatever it is.
and
Doesn't
it can
matter.
be person, history, from history or something like that.
Anything you want in
Okay.
in
I'm
your
thinking
life.
of it.
You got it? It could be
Yeah.
a number, whatever. You got it?
No, I'm thinking of
Okay.
something.
So also what I'm going to do is, and there's no camera behind you or anything, right?
No, there's no camera behind
Okay,
me.
cool. So do you have something to write with? Should be like a notepad that or like a pen or anything. It really doesn't matter.
I'm sure Sonny would just bring you the notepad. You can stay by the mic.
Yeah, but it's a little different than that.
Okay.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not even gonna like be in the shot or the frame. I can even go over there.
Yeah. But you got to talk into a microphone.
Okay.
That's the only issue.
Well, let's do that.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is write down whatever it is that you're thinking of, and then
The-
you're just
the name
gonna
of it?
rip
Okay.
out a piece of paper and just crumple it up so no one can see it, basically, and put it
Okay.
in your pocket.
Okay, great.
And when you're done, you can just fold this back up and set it down. No one needs it.
Okay.
But hold it up so that way no one can see it, including me. And just kind of quickly do that. And we can always cut if we need to, right? But it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, we can cut. I mean, listen, if this is a total drag, we'll cut it out. No problem. Okay. Got it.
Okay, and then your buddy as well. Go ahead and have him write something as well if you can give that to him.
He's going to write his own thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Sonny, do you think you could come over here and grab it? So great. Can Sonny see it?
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't matter.
Sonny can see it. He's friends with Keanu Reeves. I'm sure he's perfectly able to see that. Dude, Keanu Reeves is the coolest dude ever. Coolest dude around. I met him one time. I was like, you are pretty cool, dude. You know who else I thought was like unbelievably cool when I met him? I one time interviewed Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah, from the Coppola family, right?
Yes. I mean, I don't think anyone.
You say rip it out?
Yeah, you can just rip it out.
Tyler, did you rip
Yeah, and we still have time too, so.
I didn't rip mine out. So was I supposed to rip it out?
But yeah, it doesn't matter though.
Okay. I interviewed Nicolas Cage when he was shooting or when he was marketing the movie Gone in 60 Seconds. And I was like sitting with him. I was like,
Wow.
it really struck me. I'm like, oh yeah. So like, this is like a movie star charisma versus like my funnest friend. Oh, there's a difference between movie star charisma and I was really blown away. So cool. Such a nice guy.
Gotcha. Now
That was a
this
great
only
movie.
works with one person. Sonny, I want you to point to either one of these guys. Just point to one. Doesn't matter. Just point to one of these. Him? Okay. I'm sorry, man. You're disqualified. That's the way it works. But
Okay.
But however, though, we have your friend, and what was your friend's name again?
Producer Jerry,
Producer Jerry. Okay, producer Jerry.
who does not have a camera on him.
But it's okay. He doesn't need a camera on him. You know, you're thinking of something with I feel like somebody with the name James. Is that right? You're thinking of somebody with James, like James.
Shut
something?
up.
But hold on. This is James.
What?
This is one of his like, because the way this works is the oldest broadcasting and receiving station is
Yeah.
not the television or the radio. It's actually the human mind. That's how like you can think of somebody and all of a sudden they text you or call you. Has that ever happened to you? It's like we're all connected in this unique way. It's like Wi-Fi. You can't see it, but it exists, right? So our brains are all connected in a unique way. So just think of this person or this thing, and just think of it and try to send me the message. Just keep holding the message real quick. I'm seeing it's like this has something to do with someone's house or something, right?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Hold on one second. It's a little blurry. It's called the optic thalamus, by the way, in the mind. It's different than the pineal gland. Are you thinking of James, like his parents' house or something like that? Or it's not his parents' house, but it's something with James' house. What was it? You can say it out loud if you'd like.
Yeah, it's my parents' house. The street name was James.
Good Lord.
No
Are you
way.
kidding me?
And I wrote in the book.
No way.
I wrote down James Street, parents' house.
Damn, that's crazy. I can't even see that from here. But
So you don't know what I. So you can't.
Something
tell
about
me?
I think I can pick up on the last thing that you wrote.
Okay.
Possibly. It's hard to tell. It doesn't start with an H, does it?
Start with an H.
The last word or the last thing you wrote, like haro or hero
Wait.
or.
It does end with an H. Wait, it ends with an H.
Okay, it's just hard right now, so it'll come back to me. I'm sure later on I'll try to think of it, but usually we have to pick one or the other, and so that was the unfortunate luck of the draw there. But you said it was, what was it again?
James Street, my parents' house.
Wow, that's insane. And him and I have never met before, right? Or
No,
I know
this
we don't
is
have a camera on
this
him or anything.
truly floors me that you were able to do
That's
this.
crazy.
It would have been better if you did it with me since I'm on camera. But
Absolutely. Well, it's always better, but we can do it round two because, I was also on this other podcast and, it went very viral because we were talking about some real stuff.
Does it require, is it totally important that someone writes this down? Can I just think of another thing right now?
You can enter it in your phone. You can also just, there's,
Can we do
I
round
can't
two
do it
right now?
I can't do it again because it's it's one of those things you only do once, but
Okay.
you can, tell a friend even, it's just, you have to have a way to prove that's what you were thinking. Otherwise you'll just change your mind, so you can write it in your phone, tell a friend, you can
I'm
write
blown
it down
away.
on paper.
I'm blown away.
It's just called mentalism. It's only existed for thousands of years, and it's only the
Did you ever
oldest
watch
of the
David
ancient-
Blaine?
Yeah, so I speak on stage with
Pretty
the guys
amazing.
that got him started on television, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then you can just take that back if you want, or give it to him or whatever, like the pen or whatever, so I don't lose it.
This
So the other thing I was gonna say is David Blaine's a great guy, but Chris Angel's also a really great guy, and I work with the guys that help him develop his effects as well.
Yeah, David Blaine's the goat, and his special words basically like magic for black people because they flip out and have the best reactions ever.
I
It's
love
the
that.
best special ever. I don't know
Well-
what it's actually called.
Well, we can do something even more amazing. If you think being able to be telepathic, and if you think, being able to read minds from across the room without words being said, if you think that's awesome, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure your viewers see that every single day when they walk down the street. But for those that don't, so why don't we do another cool thing that'll be awesome? Does anyone have like a key, for instance, or like a coin, something made out of metal, maybe preferably not sunny because
Yeah, I have a key.
but it has to be one that you don't mind if it gets damaged, because it might get damaged. And if it's like your only key and it's to something important, you don't want to use it. Maybe if it's a spare key or you have one you don't care about anymore. So like a quarter would be the best. Okay, so you got a quarter.
Great.
The only thing is, like, I'm not even sure how I'm gonna do this honestly with the mic. So maybe if we had like a lavalier mic or something.
Yeah,
But
we
either
are
way,
not
I'm
at the
sure.
Magic Castle.
So don't So why don't you give that to him?
Thanks, Sonny.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
It's
what I want
quarter.
you to do is examine it first of all. But also what I want you to do,
Yeah.
and maybe I can just move this to where we can get some type of action going on here. Or is this playing?
It's kind of.
Okay, so we're out of luck. Or
And
there
you
we go.
just-
We can tilt this.
Oh my god.
So what I want you to do is
Yeah.
just write like a symbol on it, your name, or just write something on this
Okay.
real quick.
Most people watch this, but you have to also just be conscious as if this is a radio show, and so it's like create a audio context for. Okay, wait. So I'm holding a quarter. and a
you're holding
Sharpie.
a quarter, and all you're gonna do is write like some identifiable thing on it, like a symbol or a letter, something to make it unique, so that
Okay,
way we know
sure.
that's the only
Okay,
quarter
I'm doing that.
out there, basically.
Great. Okay.
All right, you hold on to the quarter. I'll take the pen back.
Okay.
Okay. Now for the
Sharpie.
camera that is there, why don't you show the camera just whatever it may be, like the symbol. I can see it too. It doesn't really matter at this point. But it could be like
okay.
the symbol, whatever it is.
Can you see it?
I
you
can't
can see
even
it,
What is
Jerry?
that, Z or something like that?
We just got these new cameras. I can't believe we can see the thing. Amazing. Okay.
So I'll take that.
Okay.
And what I want you to do is, did you look at the date, by the way, or do you know what's on the inside of the
No.
quarter? Like,
Oh yeah, kind of.
Because the thing is, well, here's the thing.
There's the
'Cause
head
everyone
on one
thinks
side.
on the inside that it's always like, oh, it's like made out of tin, or it's made out of like, they always say, oh, it's like some type of copper. But the real question is, do you know what's on the inside of the quarter, not on the outside of one? By chance,
No.
anybody?
I don't.
You said you do or you don't?
No, I have no idea. Probably.
Okay. Well, so which camera would be the best to do this for? This one, you think?
That's closest.
Okay, so I want you to check this out, and this
Okay.
might rub off a little bit. This
Okay.
might rub off a little bit on you, on the Z, but you can tell it's still got the marker on there.
Okay.
You can compare; it's the same quarter.
Yeah.
Watch this. Look, guys. It'll just probably fall on the floor, but look. You'll really see it start to go. Look.
Okay, I'm walking.
Watch. More and more. Do you see that? Look. Wow.
Yeah.
Check that out. So why don't you pick that up and just look at it real quick, and you'll see that with my mind and your quarter with your mind, there's no switch or anything. The mind is so powerful that once you understand how to truly unlock the secrets of the mind, not only can you read minds about, James' parents' house or whatever it is,
this is pretty crazy.
But we can actually start to affect things around us, such as metal, such as other people influencing.
This is crazy that you're able to do
things
that.
like that.
I'm very impressed. I still think that black people respond to magic better than I'm responding right now. There's been lots of hooting and hollering. That's David Blaine. What a genius.
He's a great guy.
I was dating this girl named Terry, for a while, and she in the past had worked with David Blaine, and we were in Vegas at the same time that he was in Vegas. Okay. And she was like, "Oh, let's go hang out. We're going to hang out at some club or something with my friend David." And so we went into some kind of VIP area, and it was like us, the girl that I was dating at the time, and David Blaine. And there were other people there, but they weren't like around. And one of the most awkward times in my whole life was hanging out with David Blaine, who was like, maybe he was on like a drug or something, but it's just like the energy was like so off. I couldn't really make conversation with him. And it was like, I'll never forget this. This is like the most traumatic way, the most awkward period of time that I've spent with anybody. Except this one car ride where my stepdad was like really mad at me. We weren't talking, and we were in a car forever.
So do you think it was like dark energy or just like awkward energy?
I mean, like in my head, I'm like, I guess he's just way too cool because I was already a fan. I'm like, I think I'm just not cool enough for him to even be like, "Hey, so we have this in common." Like he would talk around me. And the girl I was dating, I'm like, dude, I'm about to punch. Not that I would punch a girl, but I was just like, I'm about to be done with you because she was like not helping.
Wow.
And yeah, one of the most awkward periods. And I didn't want to be like, lady, we're done. I don't care. All I know is this is the most boring night I've ever had, and I'm out of here. I just kept thinking, I'm like, I'm gonna salvage it. I'm gonna be great friends with David Blaine. Just never panned out.
That was a painful lesson for you, right?
Painful lesson is pull the ejection. I think I'm pretty good at pulling the ejection seat when I'm like, it's like, I think I'm very good now being like, peace.
I love that.
I'm not going to be in like this awkward, weird energy for much longer. I hope someday I become friends with David Blaine, but I will not subject myself to a long, awkward period. Boy, he'd be great on the show. So did you go to jail for creating DMT?
Yeah, so the way it worked is I went to jail. I was around 18 or so years old, so I was right on that cusp.
Okay.
First time offense, went to jail, and I was the manufacturer basically. So
you made DMT.
Yeah, I made DMT. So basically they're like, so I did 2 weeks in jail, and then I got out for I think it was basically. So here's what happened. This is the crazy part. So I went to jail. And then I got out I forget however long later. It wasn't that long.
Okay.
And then they gave me another court date. Listen to this.
Okay.
And then they gave me another court date, and then I actually ran from the law.
Gadzooks.
Yeah,
right.
Literally, I ran from the law for 2 years, and I was escaping the law. I was like a convict on the run. I thought my life was over. It was crazy. And then finally, the law caught back up with me. And when everything was all said and done, they said, you can either do 1 year in prison or you can do 3 years probation. That was the offer.
Okay.
And they said most people take the prison because they know they're going to mess up again.
Yeah.
I knew that my life was changed forever and I'm not going to mess up again, so.
Probation.
So I was like, give me the 3 years probation. And the state of Illinois was so broke that they didn't even drug test me one time during that 3 years probation.
Okay.
And I wasn't supposed to smoke weed or anything. I could have been getting high the whole time. And
did you?
That's what happened. No, I didn't, because I didn't want to risk doing the wrong thing. But
yeah. All right. Okay. So
that's that story, and that's why I became an entrepreneur and hypnotist, and then later on,
A movie
you know,
producer.
a bunch of other stuff. Yeah,
Television producer.
yeah,
Television and movie producer.
absolutely.
Okay, amazing. The and wait, okay, so we talked, and then you have another story.
Oh yeah, so because it's painful lessons,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So one of my biggest
Painful lessons that you
lessons.
learn something from. No, I love. I'm really into the theme of this show, which is hard-earned growth and people that have developed a perspective as a result of coming through the other side, and now they're
Yeah,
victorious and they can laugh about these like rough things.
yeah.
That's the sweetest laugh, in my opinion.
Oh man, yeah. So speaking of that, so there was a period of time where I was working with the managers for Michael Jackson, which at the
Okay.
time was Frank DeLeo and Mark LaMica. You know, were the
Okay.
two guys, and then Frank passed away, and then I was, you know, we were still working with Mark, and I was just learning the business, you know, like how to take liens against the box office. You know, Michael at the time was like the biggest star in the world. If you go to Google and type in, you know, uh, basically, really, if you just go on Google and type in who are the most famous people in the world that have ever existed, it's like Gandhi, Buddha, and like Michael Jackson, and then
Yeah.
like Jesus.
I want you to know
and-
you don't need to qualify Michael
no, it's
Jackson.
not even about
Yeah.
qualifying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, it's stuff that I didn't even know because I like had to like pinch myself
I'm aware.
certain parts. But the interesting thing is, though,
Did
is
you spend a
that-
lot of time with Michael Jackson?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't. And so here's the thing, though, is I did spend a lot of time with Mark.
Okay.
And, you know, he was teaching me a lot of stuff, but I was also a nice guy. I was cutting him in on money and deals that he didn't even have anything to deal with.
Okay.
One of them was, you know, the co-owner of the Lakers, right, was my client, and I was helping him with marketing at the time, the Bus family, right? And so basically,
Oh, it's the Bus family.
Yeah, so they were paying me to do their marketing, right, for the personal stuff
Okay.
side of things. And as a result, you know, I was cutting in Mark a little bit of the money that I was getting, even though he wasn't really doing anything. I was just being a nice guy.
You're like,
right?
here's some money.
Like, hey, yeah. So come to find out, unbeknownst to me, and the way I found out was literally 6 guns, at least 6 to 8 guns pointed at me and like 4 other people at the Santa Monica Lowe's Hotel.
Okay.
And
Great
and
hotel.
FBI agent invests and everything. So here's what happened. Here's the backstory. So basically, apparently Mark's trying to raise money for this conference, or not conference, it's a concert with some big stars.
For Michael
And
Jackson.
not even for Michael Jackson. This is later on.
Okay.
I still don't even know
Like
to
Tito?
this day. Well, it's, you know, a lot of big stars.
Okay.
I still to this day don't know exactly the ins and outs of what happened. But all I remember looking back is seeing that, you know, whether he had an LOI or not, a letter of intent.
Yeah.
You know, apparently he would. I can't even talk. He was either trying to raise the money and then go get the artists, or he had
Okay.
already maybe had a verbal agreement and then was going to solidify it later, or maybe it was a complete scam. I still don't know to this day, to
Okay.
be honest with you. But what had happened is that, you know, I was with him one day. We went to the Santa Monica Lowe's Hotel to raise, you know, $2 million apparently for this concert.
Sure.
Which I was under the effect that this was like a real thing going on, which turns out it may not have been. I still don't know to this day. But regardless, we're sitting in the Santa Monica Lowe's Hotel. This guy is about to stroke a check for $2 million. And next thing you know, knock, knock. Actually, it wasn't a knock. The fucking door busts down. And there's literally 6 to 8, literally, I forget exactly how many, 6 to 8 FBI agents, full-blown vests, guns pointed at us, everything. And keep in mind, you know, because I'm a musician, at that time this is before I became an actor and producer.
Yeah.
I just wanted to advance my music career, you know, so that's why I
Sure.
was even there. Because I was told, oh yeah, you're going to be able to open up and do this and that, whatever. So, you know, so anyway, so it was just crazy because it was so surreal in that time that I literally, like, it was unfathomable in my head because I had no idea what was going on. So I thought that literally that there was a possibility it wasn't even the FBI. I thought there was a possibility I was getting kidnapped and these guys were just wearing FBI vests. I mean, how am I supposed to know, right? Because I didn't know there was any foul
Don't
play or
know.
anything going on. So I start hyperventilating and like we're all handcuffed and like we're put, you know, up against the wall, and I'm just looking over at Mark and he's like, just calm down. He's like, it's all good. And I'm like, and so I asked them, I turned to him, I'm like, are you guys really the FBI or what? And they're like, yes, we're really the FBI. I'm like, okay, thank God. So basically, very long story short,
Yeah.
you know, it ended up making NBC headline news. So the company I was involved in at that time, ended up literally making like the headline news of NBC. It's still, you can look up press releases about it today. And it was just one of those things where I dodged a bullet, just like Wyatt Earp, which is my ancestor.
You're related to Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, the Earp family. And so so just like he was the only one to dodge that bullet at the OK Corral, it's like I feel like there's been several times in my life where that's one example where I've basically dodged bullets. And it's just a really crazy thing, you know, to be that close to something and not have no idea what's really going on the other side, you know.
Tombstone is the best movie in the world. Or it's my favorite, maybe one of my, I don't think it's the best movie in the world. I think it's one of the greatest cowboy and shoot 'em up movies.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's one of the top movies. And Wyatt Earp does survive the fight at the OK Corral, but so does Doc Holliday, doesn't he?
You know what? I'm not sure. Well, here's the thing. I think Wyatt Earp is the only one that got by unscathed.
Okay.
So I think Doc Holliday might have survived, but he might have, you know, it feels so bad. I really need to brush up on this side of my history. But,
maybe that's even before Doc Holliday. I mean, I haven't seen Tombstone in a while.
it's one of those things, yeah, like I don't even really watch movies at this point. Like it's so crazy. They say, well, why don't you watch movies if you produce them? And even Johnny Depp doesn't even watch his own movies, you know?
Yeah, but that's Johnny Depp.
He's too busy making his own
That's
stuff.
just Johnny Depp. He's
But a lot of people
playing
don't.
guitar with Keith Richards. What do you watch television shows?
I don't watch anything at all.
Okay, all right.
Isn't that crazy?
It's not crazy, but I suppose it's unusual.
Yeah, I'm an unusual person, man.
Okay,
It's
wait. Well,
insane.
listen. I would be better off if I reduced my media. So and it probably keeps you up. You're like, dude, these are gonna be fresh ideas.
Well, I also don't read books, and I try not to fill my head with other people's ideas. And
Okay,
people that are not in the industry are the most disruptive to the industry, you know, I feel like. Because they're not conditioned into the way things have to be done.
Okay, so wait. So you don't read books. You don't watch TV.
I don't watch movies.
You don't watch movies.
I just work and I produce results, you know.
Okay.
That's all I do.
That's what I see. All these people on the internet, like these influencers now, like there's like a posse of people that follow like the Tate brothers.
Oh yeah.
And they're just like, all we do is just grind out, work out, make money. That's all we're talking about. It's like, and then yeah, that's all they do.
I like to be creative though, you know. I believe in the grind, but I also believe in creativity.
Of
And I
course.
believe that the more creative we are, the closer we are to the universe, you know. I think that the role of the artist is to, you know, shatter the paradigm of what once was.
What once was. I could go on and on about the role of the artist. Sometimes I just think it's for having fun. Like his creativity is just like a fun ass thing to do.
Absolutely.
Other times I get like real up in my head. I'm like, no, the idea is that you add just a little bit of a spark to the universe. And the goal is to add even just a little bit. It's awesome. We all kind of pitch in and make it a more beautiful place, make it a little bit more colorful, a little bit more exciting, more interesting. And then other times I go back to the original. I'm like, nah, I think it's just like, just play is important. I'm in the middle. So would you call yourself an artist as an actor producer?
I would say, yeah, I'm an artist, you know, because I play music as well. So.
Yeah.
And I'm a magician and mentalist and hypnotist and a few other things that end with ist.
Oh, geez, I almost forgot. There's something, there's a thing, and we are not talking about advertisers right now. Because there's like these huge fires in LA. All the places, the place is currently on fire in an area by Magic Mountain, which is a terrific amusement park. And they still haven't put the Palisades fire completely out. So this city is like on fire, and there are organizations that are doing really great things. I know about one that is called the Dream Center, dreamcenter.org. The place what time is it right now? Right now, they are serving people a mile long wrapped around the like neighborhoods and blocks and coming off the highway of people that are lined up in cars. They drive through and they get like all kinds of stuff that help them out. Appliances, it's like stuff that they need to start over, or just food. And then sometimes people will have like, I got sober there. after not getting sober at a bunch of some of the best rehab places in the world. This place, the Dream Center, got sober, and they right now, if I was a homeless person and I needed a place to live, I could go there and they would take me in, not like for a week, but for like a year. And they'll take anybody in. If I was a sex trafficking victim and I needed to escape, and if I needed a safe place and a place to live and everything, I would go there and they would take me in for like years if I needed it. If I was a foster kid and I'd just been emancipated and I was like, I don't know what to do with my life and I have all these mental problems, they would take me in for it and they would help me and they would feed me. Or if I was a poor family, they would take me in and feed me. So anyway, instead of an advertiser, I hope that if you also, it's important that you subscribe to my YouTube. But anyway, the ask is check out dreamcenter.org. It's doing killer things. And while LA is on fire, it's the one place that's like majorly stepping up and helping people.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Place is friggin-tacular.
Wow.
Jeez. I could go on and on.
Dream Center. Wow.
It's the Dream Center. So I went to all these different rehabs, and I went to a place called Betty Ford, which is in Palm Desert, and it's awesome, and it's terrific, and it's really productive. But for whatever reason, I think I was still emotionally like holding back a couple of things. Like maybe I'm not ready to get sober forever. And so it was really productive and gave me a lot of tools, probably things that helped me stay sober, but it didn't end the cycle of it. I didn't end. After maybe a year or so, I found myself like drinking again. Wow. So, but this place, the Dream Center, I'm telling you, like it's been almost 4 years right now. And I've had nothing. And they say that, the goal of an alcoholic or anyone that has addiction, the cure is like a spiritual awakening and a daily reprieve. And I had like a spiritual awakening. It's amazing. So it's called the Dream Center. Place is killer. Damn. If you were looking for a way to like volunteer or help out, go to this place. It's amazing.
Damn.
Yeah. Are you married or something?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. So are you, I'm curious, other than working all the time, what's like your scene in LA?
I like to go to a lot of events, like I'm on the red carpet almost every night and stuff.
Whoa.
Yeah. Cause it's just like, I have friends that are in PR and stuff. And
great.
Yeah. So I'm in the mix constantly, and that's where, I thrive is in environments like that,
Do you ever get a lot of good celebrity stories from the red carpet? Who's a bitch? Who's a terrific guy? Who's gay that won't say it? No, that's that's rude.
Chris Rock was a little rude to me.
What? He got his, didn't he?
Yeah, we were at Leonardo DiCaprio's birthday party, and shout out to my buddy Tyrone Tan, who's also great friends with Leo since they were little.
Yeah.
And oh shit, you know Tyrone? So you already know. And so anyway, I went to Leo's birthday party.
I've interviewed Leo. He's awesome.
He is a great guy. Great party as well. And Chris Rock, man, was there, and I was doing magic. I was hanging out with Snoop Dogg and Tobey Maguire at the corner of the party, and we were smoking a blunt. Because Snoop's always rolling a blunt.
Yeah.
And then Toby's girlfriend, Masha, I believe was her name, was there. But what's interesting is, I was doing all types of stuff. I was levitating off the ground, doing like some crazy stuff.
Wow.
And but what's interesting is, so Chris Rock showed up, and we were all at the bar and ordering a drink, and I went to go do this like magic trick, and he was just like acting like he didn't even see what was going on. He was literally just like, oh yeah, whatever. Like he would turn kind of like what David Blaine did to you, right? Or whatever. Like Chris Rock was just like, he was basically just like, oh yeah, whatever. Like he didn't say that, but his body language did. And he'd look around and talk to the person next to me, and completely like I was making amazing things happen. I was making things float around the room, whatever. Because Leo loves magic, so I was just doing.
He loves magic.
So I was just doing magic, and Chris, for whatever reason, just wasn't having it. And now here's the other thing: is we're all dealing with our.
I know why.
We're all dealing with our own personal
black
stuff.
people in magic. Maybe he just thought it was gonna freak him out.
Well, I started after that. I was like,
it's a deal.
I was like, after that whole experience, I was like, damn, I see why he got bitch slapped, But
he got bitch slapped.
It is what it is, right?
I think Will Smith is pretty terrific, and it's terrible. I'm sorry. It's awful. This is whatever the incident. It's awful, but I met Will Smith one time. He's just like dazzling, just the best. just the best. And I've never met Chris Rock before, so sometimes I just find myself rooting for the person that I've met.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like that guy's probably the best.
It's whoever the Holy Roman Empire wants to prop up at the time. That's really what it is.
Hey, well, listen, I could talk about the Holy Roman. I love, who are we talking? Constantine. I feel like, have you ever been to Istanbul?
I have not.
Oh man, so cool. So where Constantinople is, like, so cool. It's amazing. I mean, there, every now and then I'll be driving, right? And I'm like, man, these roads are everywhere. Like, someone got here, and like, if for some reason I had to like build or pave a road maybe 100 yards, I'd be like, that's going to take 10 years. I would be such but the roads are everywhere,
right,
and they kind of go endlessly, and you can be going fast as lightning, and it's just, and like, so it's like we are taking advantage of like a world that was created and dealt with and all this stuff before us, and it's like, this doesn't even account for like all the work that God did. This is just like people that have built a road. So it's like, then when you think of like Colosseum and all this other stuff, it's like this magnificent, it's like you go to Florence, and then you see this the Duomo, and you're like, wow, my God, and everything's, every now and then I just get like in awe. Like, things are like, we're just getting this one life, we're getting to take advantage of just like all this glorious stuff that was here before us.
Isn't that awesome, man?
It's amazing.
And we don't have to build the roads, we can just start.
They're there.
I asked a billionaire one time, I said,
these amazing roads.
How did you become a billionaire? And he said, if you want to be a billionaire, stop planning.
Planning?
Planning, yeah. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he said, if I want to get to the end of the street, I'm just going to start walking. And basically, I may find somebody like that has a skateboard on the side of the road, or a bike, or my buddy may be driving by in a vehicle and I can hitch a ride with him. But ultimately, I'm just going to start moving. Yeah. So that's really a great thing that when you're talking about just continuing going down a road, that I think of, because it's really about personal development. I feel like success doesn't exceed personal development. And I'm sure you had your own, going through rehab and everything. I'm sure you had your own awakening, and
I did,
spiritually and everything else, right?
Yeah, I did. And then I've also, like, I'm an artist, and that involved, I'm convinced, as like a voice from God saying, I was a television producer at the time, and I was getting a little bit of frustrated because it was getting towards a point where it was more a managing big staff and everything, and becoming less things that I was excited about, more things kind of stressed me out as I went up. And I was like, I don't know, I feel like this isn't where I should pivot soon. And I had a voice was like, become an artist. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. And visual arts, as a painter, it's great, because like all this stuff behind you, like, you're just looking at the stuff that I made. I don't have to wait for you to watch it, to read a script. I don't have to wait for you to watch a show. It's just like, what do you think about that or that or that? I'm like, I'm real into that right there. What do you think of it?
I love that. I was going to comment on it.
Thanks. You just made my day. Amazing. So I didn't have to wait for you to read a script or whatever. It's like, and I love that.
I love it, man. And Sonny works with like Beeple and people like that. So it's like,
what's the deal with your friend Sonny?
So Sonny, he's, worked with a lot of big people, and, he's done production and a lot of other stuff.
A lot of big people. I'll tell you what, we don't like just vague things. So who are the people that he's worked with?
Yeah, so Sonny, why don't you say? Or wait, we don't have a mic over there, do we?
We do,
so,
but it's not hooked up.
The problem is I don't like.
Sonny, who's that famous lady you slept with?
Yeah. What was that painful lesson? You woke up in the morning and she wasn't that famous anymore. No,
I told her I couldn't date you anymore because I had to build Millennium Falcons.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Did she buy it? She actually did. Well, I mean, not did she buy it. She actually she walked away. So I was like,
that's funny.
It's amazing how the Millennium Falcon is just still so iconic. I mean, it's like, I can't say I would have been totally into it if I was just on set. I'm like, that's the main ship. It looks, I don't know, I'm not that into it. And then you're like, no, That's the best design for a ship by far. This, what's it called when one side is different than another? Asymmetric ship. Yeah, it's like, why
Right.
is it asymmetric? It's like, but if you think about it, it's all in space. They didn't even need so you could have just a flat thing going forward.
That's
But
hilarious.
man, yeah, I love Star Wars. I mean, I've read Star Wars books. I'm not crazy about the last 3 Star Wars movies. I think Rogue One is spectacular. I think it's one of the greatest stories. You're into it, Sonny?
That's the only one that matters.
It's Rogue One is so it's the characters. I mean, listen, if you haven't watched it, you're an idiot already. So I'm gonna give it some of it away. These wonderful characters that you just love die in the end, and it's like it is like that is a movie. Rogue One is spectacular. Oh my god, I just love Rogue One. And I love all the I'm just not that into the last 3. The first of the 3 was kind of cool when Finn was like a stormtrooper, and also, like there's things I like about it. But you know what my big beef about the new? Oh wait, you don't even watch the new Star Wars. You don't watch movies. Have you seen the newest? Like, did you see the last of the new Star Wars?
I'm the worst person to
Oh yeah,
ask this
jeez.
to.
Now I'm like hyped up to talk about it. I'll tell you what an issue I have with the last of the it was the Last Jedi is there was an opportunity for a fight with Kylo Ren and Rey, and the Imperial Guard that I thought could have been one of the greatest fights of all time, and is okay, but like I don't ever find myself wanting to like go back and rewatch it. And like I'll see scenes from like, do you ever the movie Kung Fu Hustle? Like I could like go back and watch those fight scenes all the time,
I love that movie, man.
and like that was the opportunity. Or like there are what's this guy, Michael Jai White, I think it's his name. It's like awesome.
Yeah, from Spawn. He did Spawn.
Yeah, dude, you can watch like some of his like almost like B action movies. You're like that. You see these fights, you're like that is incredible. Blood to Bone, I think it's called Bone to Bone or so. Anyway, I think they just missed an opportunity to be like one of the greatest movies of all time. And I know that's like really, you like put a lot of pressure on someone, but like, yeah, it should have delivered.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And that's why, all the major studios now don't want to pay up front for content as much because they paid all these big producers and they're not delivering what they said they're going to deliver. So now the studios are upside down. So now, it screws it for everybody for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, the Avengers, that whole series that delivered. That's it's like, man, that really delivered, and it ended with such a bang, such a bang. It's like to me, it seems crazy that you would have that much going on with a movie. You're like, you didn't deliver. What happened? Like,
Yeah.
we're not only gonna fire some people, like we're gonna have to kill some people for not delivering on this.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like the stake should be for a Star Wars franchise or a Disney. Yeah. So
Makes sense.
listen, dude, thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah, this is amazing.
I had a blast.
This is a total fun time. And maybe we'll have Sonny come in next time. I'm going to talk to Sonny about movies. I'm like real excited about it. I could talk about action movies forever. Like I love action movies, but I'll tell you what's happening lately is that I'm getting to where I just want to watch like scenes from action movies. So I'm taking some of the fun out of like watching movies. Like Deadpool now, like I just kind of want to watch the few fights of Deadpool. I don't have time for him to talk and make the jokes forever.
Right.
I suppose it was a delightful ride. Watching it, I watched it. It's kind of irresponsible, but I watched the new Deadpool movie with my son. He's 8 years old, and
Wow.
there's so much swearing and there's so much violence, but my son is so grateful that I took him. That's kind of worth it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I'm glad that you survived the fires.
Thank you, man. We're
Yeah.
still surviving. And
Yeah.
same to you, man.
So I'm gonna tell me what you think about this. I'm gonna do this thing, maybe just with social media, but I'm gonna do this thing where I kind of want to encourage people to like write in maybe in the comment section or something, like what are some painful lessons that you've learned? I'm like, specifically, have you developed I think I just wanted to tell everyone, if you are laughing about something that it was once very tough in your life, I want to talk about that. I've never been able to put it so concisely. That's what, that's, hey,
See?
Jerry, don't you, that was kind of clear, don't you think? Yeah.
And that's the concept of the mastermind principle. You know, it's basically the concept of the mastermind is whenever whenever two or more minds come together
Okay.
and thereby create an invisible, intangible third mind,
Great.
which is called the mastermind.
Yeah.
And so, have you ever been like with somebody and all of a sudden all these great ideas basically start becoming downloaded into your brain? Well, and then you're thinking to yourself, well, where were all these ideas when it was just me here by myself, right?
Yeah.
So that's the concept of the mastermind. So I believe due to this environment, right, that
Yeah.
you were able to get more concise with that wording.
I am feeling kind of on. You have a good point. And I'm also really curious how you did that mentalist stuff.
I don't understand, man. I mean, that still freaks me out. You're not shitting me. That's really what you were thinking, right? Because we never met or anything. I can't even see it from here, but
It was
I'm basically just trusting you that that's what it is.
Yeah, I want to know more.
It was the most random thing that he wrote down.
That's crazy.
And you guessed it the first time.
We just
It's
did a podcast with the psychic on another thing, and the same kind of thing happened.
Wow.
It just freaked me out.
I still don't get that. That's
So-
crazy.
you had some success with a psychic.
Yeah.
I find I'm so skeptical with psychics.
Me too.
I want to be like, this is a crack. But this happened. I can say you definitely with it. And I was watching him. It was no shenanigans. I couldn't see any room for shenanigan. You got it.
Shenanigans.
Right? Yeah,
You're
shenanigans. No shenanigans. All right. Peace.